We came across this pack of jackal feeding on this carcass, and it must have been soon after the main predator had finished eating and had left. I find it interesting to watch the dynamics between the individuals. There's obviously some kind of power play. Positioning is everything for these jackals. The jackals had climbed into the main carcass, and one or two had actually pulled off pieces of rib cage and bone to the side. And I saw these individuals feasting on the side of the main pack. It wasn't only the jackals that were feasting, and these crows came along also. And one lone hyena. The hyena spent some time on his own chewing away at whatever bones it managed to pull away from the main carcass. And some of the jackals were around him, but obviously couldn't take the bones from the hyena. I saw this one jackal with a piece of the rib cage, and he was really cleaning it up. So obviously you must take everything that you can while you can. When I looked at the hyena again, obviously something else was going down, and he came forward towards the main pack, and I thought that maybe he was going to try and approach the main carcass. But obviously there was a bone on the side, and he grabbed this bone, picked it up, it was a huge bone, and went belting off. Then he just kept running.
In Botswana, the elephants, particularly in this area, spend a lot of time feeding on trees. More specifically, barks of trees. As the trees start to get their first flowers, there's obviously a spurt of growth, and the mineral content within them is a lot higher than usual. This guy is feeding on a carcass Nelsie, a Kalahari apple leaf, and it's just come into flower. The elephant picks off little pieces of little branches, and you watch how he puts them into his mouth and then rotates them slowly with his teeth in his mouth. All he's after is little strips of bark from the smaller branches. After moving off from the Kalahari apple leaf, just followed the sound of the starlings and other birds to big ebonies that were full of fruit. Elephants are incredibly dexterous with their trunks and the tip of their trunks. It's like two fingers seeking out little pieces that he wants. We watch carefully how he uses that trunk to sort of smell out and find fallen berries. And as he's doing it, he grabs a berry with the tip of his trunk and then blows out to get rid of the sand. And he'll happily spend an hour underneath one big ebony tree, just slowly picking up the fruit, piece by piece. Amazing that he spends so much time after such small little things to eat. Obviously high nutrient content and very necessary part of his diet in an area like this. Because of this diet that they have in Botswana generally, the ivory here is a lot denser than ivory, say, in other parts of Africa. They spend a lot of time foraging on trees, and because the ivory is denser, a lot of their ivory breaks. It's a lot more brittle. It's interesting to see the different folds in his skin and parts of his anatomy are really close up. You don't often to get such a close look at the different components of his body. The wrinkled skin and the way his mouth sits underneath the little folds and flaps. The eyelashes are incredibly long. One often doesn't notice that when you see it. Everybody really knows what an elephant looks like, but this close-up you get a totally different picture. Their toenails huge, and underneath of their feet quite strange to see. Again, something you don't often get to see properly. A weird creature, this. Special creature in its own right.
What I've determined to do here is to approach this snake very, very carefully so it isn't aware that I'm here. This is a snake that can get up to nearly 2 meters in length. Obviously this one isn't anywhere near that, probably about 1.20 meters. This snake is just hanging on this bush, head downwards most of the time towards the ground where its natural prey would be, and in this way it will be alerted to any movement in the leaf litter down there on the ground. Of course, if something does come by, then its technique is to lower itself very quickly down from above and strike down at the animal from above, and then lift it up into the bush and swallow it. Several times while I was filming it, the head suddenly moved into another direction as though it had spotted something. Of course, the whip snake's famed for this astonishing keyhole-shaped pupil. There must be something about that shape that assists it in spotting prey or in its hunt for prey. It almost looks like a pair of sights there going down the snout from the eye. These whip snakes are mildly venomous, back-fanged snakes. Mostly back-fanged snakes use their venom to assist in subduing their prey while swallowing. This is a species that comes in several color variations. There's a brown, this bright green, there's a duller green, and I've even seen one that was almost a silvery gray color. Absolutely gorgeous. Wonderful to get such a lovely close-up look of an animal that's probably found in large numbers throughout these woods, but many people walk past without noticing.